1, 2, 3, 4. Get your body on the floor. Gotta get up, get down. Gotta get up, get down. All right, I wanted to actually tweet the stream because I said I wasn't going to stream earlier. That's what I was going to do. I had this Twitter open so I could tweet it, and then I got distracted by another stream. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy oncoming New Year for those of you who might be in Europe and staying up super late. Happy whatever to you as well. I am the Chris who plays games, playing retro games every Monday at 9:15, whatever. I feel like every Friday at 9:15. Tonight, I'm hanging out, playing some games, and chatting right up through when the ball drops on the East Coast. Hang out, have a good time. Here's the link. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so we'll play some games. We might check out some older streams, go back to some of the interesting things that I've done over the year. There's less interesting things that I've done over the year than usual, I feel like. I've looked back at this year, and mostly I feel like it's been on, like, survival wages. I have not done a whole lot. So, anyway. Yeah. So, you know, anyway, whatever. Hi, how's it going? I've already started drinking. We're drinking a Farmhouse Pale Ale from Oxbow Brewing. It doesn't have any fancy words on it. Yes, Farmhouse Pale Ale is a saison brewed with European malts and American hops. But I'm happy to have all of you here. I'm happy to have friends here, as always, when I stream. It is a lovely experience. So I hope that you will hang out, have a good time. If you want to see something, talk about something, whatever. I'm not super big on the gaming. It's not going to be like some specific game. Maybe I'll play some games. Maybe I won't. I got some Tetris up here, so maybe we'll play a round of Tetris while everyone can yell at me. Your flight back to China went okay. But yeah, so I kind of like was like, oh, maybe I should do something. And then I took Julie up to her dad's house, and I was like, ugh, I don't go anywhere. Like, I'm a grown-up now. I'm a parent of 2 kids over the age of 18. I got one who's 18 and one who is 21. Is that right? She's born in 90. Yeah, 21 now. So, like, I officially have 2 children who've reached the age of majority without dying, which is great. So, like, that's a thing. I hope that, yeah. So that's that. Some of the things that we've done this year, I have, published a couple of different videos. I feel like on my other channel. Well, I guess it's really just this one. Yeah, I thought I'd put more out there, but I guess I really haven't. But the interview with the Jeb Bush Orchestra, so I went and took the classes at CCTV, and, you know, did this nice little filming thing that we did here. I really loved working with these guys. It was so great. They were just an awesome group. But yeah, I guess other than that, I didn't actually publish much on YouTube over the past year on this channel. This is an older video that I did. Happy 2019 Gaming Lawyer. It's just the start, man. It's just the start. You're back in the Pacific Northwest, which is really the best place in America to be, pretty much, other than Boston. In fact, it's even better than Boston because it's possible to afford to live there, at least maybe. So, like, you're back in the Pacific Northwest. You're no longer living in Southern California, and that's gotta count for something, because Southern California, man, it's just a pit. It's a pit. You gotta look at that and be, you know, excited about that. So, man, I need a haircut. Like, even with the hat, I still can, like, look at my hair and be like, oh my god, look at this mess I've got going on. I need a fucking haircut. But yeah, 2019 is gonna be better than 2018. 2019 is gonna be your year, no matter who you are, whether you're Gaming Lawyer or Yugi or Leif or James or the other 17 people who I'm sure are watching right now. That's awesome. That's awesome. See? Already things are looking up. So I changed jobs. I was interviewing for 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I was interviewing for jobs. So that was when I was looking. I was at Nokia. I hated Nokia. I was so upset because they hated their developers. Like, they just treated their developers like crap. They were just terrible to their developers. And so, like, I was looking for a new job, and And I still remember, like, in February and March, I was, like, looking and offering and going back and forth with an offer. And James, I knew you were there. I knew you were there. But yeah, I was actually thinking James Holder, who actually was in the chat. But yeah, so, like, I almost didn't go work for Google. Like, I almost didn't go. I was, like, this close to not taking the job offer because, like, I was afraid to leave my existing team, and it would have been the biggest mistake of my life. Like, it would have been such a disaster. Like, they fired my boss a month and a half later. It was, like, the whole environment was a shit show. And had I, like, gone and rejected the Google offer, I don't know where I'd be. And, like, I was not gonna be, like, a Google employee. And it's only because I took that risk. I said, like, oh, this is going to be terrible, but I did it anyway. It's only because I took that risk that I went ahead and did that. And like, it was the best thing that I could have done. And I went through some shit this year, right? With YouTube. Like, I stopped streaming for a while. Like, I did other, you know, shit because of, like, how I was going there. And then I changed teams. And now I'm on, like, the open source team. Like, look, I got a cool little thing. This is Google open source. Like, I got, like, I love my new team. And now I'm happy. So, like, every 4 years, I just need to transition. Like, I need to transition every 4. There we go. That's outside the package. Like, that's, like, look at that cool thing. That's the logo for the team that I work for now. And, like, you know, you just got to change it up. When you've been doing the same thing for a while, you got to change it up. It was a dark chapter. It was a dark chapter for me too. I, like, you know, it was a shitty thing to look at. And I'm still, like, I still have issues, you know, like, if you look at all of these, like, open letters from, like, Google employees, I've signed all of them. Like, I'm on, you know, the anti-Maven letter, and I'm on the anti-Dragonfly letter. I'm on all these letters telling Google, like, you're doing the wrong thing. But like, I'm so lucky to be at Google. I'm so happy to be there, and it allowed me to move to where I am now. Like, had I not, because we had to move, like, shortly, like 3 or 4 months after I started at Google, we had to move, and I don't know how I would have afforded to continue living in Cambridge had I not moved. I think that there's a good chance we would have ended up somewhere else. And so really, like, making these leaps and taking these risks and, like, making changes and things like that is really important. And it seems like, and when I transitioned both out of YouTube and out of Nokia, like, I spent months feeling like I'd made the wrong decision. And in hindsight, like, years later, I can look back, or months later, I can look back and be like, oh my God, this was such a better decision for me. So I'm super glad that I was able to make that change this year, you know, like, cause I was almost resigned to staying in YouTube and just shutting up and never streaming again and never talking on the internet again and everything else like that. And now I'm working on the open source team. Like, one of the things that I get to do is, like, we publish the internal, like, docs that we have. So if you go to, like, opensource.google.com, like, this is our website, and, like, these docs are our internal docs for, like, licensing code and, like, how our build rules work. And, like, so this is, like, the rules that I apply when we pull in third-party packages. And, like, these GitHub documents and stuff like that are things that I help make work. And so, like, all of these things, well, I think that you're suffering from a really common problem, Gaming Lawyer, which is that housing prices are broken everywhere in the freaking country. Everywhere that people want to live, housing prices are ridiculous. And the reality is that people are like, oh, why don't you just move to someplace where it's cheap? Like, look, houses in Ohio are $10,000 to buy a house in Ohio. And it's like, yeah, sure, but there's no jobs there. Like, the reason that they're, like, I don't know, let's look in Dayton, Ohio. Let's go buy a house in Dayton. All right. That's not the right button. All right. Dayton, Ohio. Let's look at one of these houses. All right. $200,000. $200,000 would buy you a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,364 square foot apartment. But you can't get a job. Also, look at this house. What the fuck is this house? Like, this is just a random thing that I clicked on. Like, what is this? Like, are you looking for... Like, what is this weird, like, awning over the front? Like, what is this? Also, everything about this house is fucking stupid. Like, what is this? How part of the house is this? Is this, like... Because it's like reclaimed wood. Like, oh god. And so yeah, sure, it's a 33. It's a house that is 4 times the size of mine for 1/5 of the price. Oh my god, this house is so fucking weird. It's like a weird split level ranch with all kind. Oh, it's grimy, dude. Oh, I guess that's granite. This tile though, this would be the the dark tile in a shower. It's just like I look at this giant fucking living room. I had no space in my house, like, but yeah, so like great, you can have this house, and so like look at what is that? Why do you have a weird awning on the front porch of the concrete steps of your house? Like, if it was behind the house, at least I get it. Like a screened room or something like that. Like I get that. But like, what is this? Frank Lloyd, I was going to say, it looks like you were thinking Frank Lloyd Wright. And yes, this Frank Lloyd Wright inspired prairie style home. Just steps away from the Masonic Temple. 11 room, 5 bedroom. Like, Jesus. Anyway, so yeah. All right. So that's $59 per square foot for a 5 bedroom, 3 bath. I typed Cambridge, MA, and you get whatever. Okay, so let's look at, we're going to do, 5 bedrooms. I don't even think you can buy a 5 bedroom in our town, but let's try. All right, apply filters. All right, you can buy 5 bedrooms. Cool. 25 beds. I don't think this is quite the thing I was thinking. All right, let's ignore this Queen Anne. 5 bedrooms. Oh, these are all like giant. They're all like multi-unit buildings. That's why they're all giant. Okay. Because I was like, you can't actually buy one of these, and I'm not wrong. You can't buy one of these. Like 6 beds, 6 baths. That's because this is actually a 6 apartment building. Like, it's not a house. But here we go. 5 beds, 2 baths. All right. So this is 2,813 square feet for $462 per square foot. So overall, like, real estate here compared to the house that I was just looking at, I missed that one. Whatever. Zoom back out and find my Frank Lloyd Wright house again. I lost it. Whatever. So like, yeah, so like I could spend $92 or a couple hundred, like $100 per square foot or $500 per square foot in Cambridge. Like, but the thing is that here I can work for Google. Like, here I have a job. Like, all right, so here's my commute, right? Like, I live somewhere near here, right? And my job is this like little thing here. Like, this is where I work. Like, this is like straight crow flies distance. It's like a mile. So yeah, that was in Dayton. There's a $45,000. Let's make our limit $50,000. And oh, I was just showing you something and you couldn't see it. Okay, so like this is my distance between work. Like, here's my house, here's work. Like, this is less than a mile. And you can see like Village Grill and Seafood that I have starred because I used to be there. It's been closed for like 5 years, but whatever. Like, and I got all this like green space and everything else like that near me. All right, so yeah, no, if you want a $25,000 house in Dayton, like, you can do that. Like, you can get a 800 square feet, 2 bedroom, 1 bath for 25 grand. Like, yeah. And I'm not saying there aren't like a handful of places that like these things are true of, but like the places where that does not look like it's in great shape. Like, this one definitely looks like it's the kind of place that you're gonna go inside and find out it needs some work. Anytime that you look at a house, I guess it's not for sale. No, it is for sale. Okay, it's been on Redfin for 10 days. Anytime there's a house that doesn't have pictures of the inside, you know you're in trouble. Like, this is a bad sign. Like, this is someone who got foreclosed on, and like this house like has not had heat for the past couple years, and all the pipes are frozen and the walls are busted out. Like, that's what's going on there. This one's got a kind of a meh yard. It's only got one picture. Like, how do you not have more pictures? Like, stage your house. You're trying to sell your goddamn... I guess it's probably being sold by the bank. Like, is this just a lot? This might just be a lot. Yeah, it's just a lot. Anyway. But yeah, so, like, I believe you, like, Portland is Gaming Lawyer, if you live in Dayton, Ohio, you're not affording a Prius. Again, there's no jobs. There's no jobs. Like, you can't just go live someplace where there's no jobs. This one's okay. It's definitely, like, you know, they at least, you know, it's okay. It's okay. It's a small ranch. Like, it's fine. I just look at things like this now, like, after being... So, I grew up, and this is the type of house that I grew up, like, near, right? So, like, if I look at... where I grew up, which no one in my family lives there anymore, so I feel comfortable showing you this. Like, I grew up on Lorraine Avenue, I think? Although I think Lorraine Avenue has a bunch of parts that, like, it's not, but let's see if I can drag the stick man here. Yeah, this is like the wrong part of this. Lorraine is weird because it continues somewhere else. Yeah, so like I love this, right? So Lorraine Avenue is here, like it's just like the vertical, like the east-west direction on Lorraine Avenue is always Lorraine Avenue, regardless of the fact that all of these pieces are disconnected. Yeah, so I think maybe I lived somewhere on this street. I don't know, whatever. So like these like ranches, like this is where I grew up initially. So I lived here until I was 5, and then I was, grew up on Evergreen Street in St. Charles. Alright, so this is the other house that I grew up in. So this is the street I grew up in, which they've repainted. It looks really bright now, but yeah. So, like, this is the street I grew up in, which I loved this, like... all of these trees and everything else like that. Like, I love that you could just be, like, in the street and you were just covered. There used to actually be a giant tree here, but I think they had to cut it down because it was, like, overhanging. But yeah, so, like, we get shade everywhere. Like, this whole street is just covered in shade because, you plant trees on the parkway and you wait 30 years in these subdivisions and they grow up and they give you a nice shade. Yeah. I mean, it really is the case that, like, there are certainly places where if you are going to work entirely remote or online, like, sure, like, live someplace, you know, wherever. That's actually one of the things they were trying to do in, like, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Was it Tulsa? Moved to $10,000. Yeah. It's like a remote offer thing. Tulsa remote. So if you're going to work remotely from somewhere, like Tulsa Remote was like, hey, like come here and we'll give you $10,000 in cash. Like you just have to live here a year. I know. Evergreen Street with no evergreens. I did live right next door to Oak Street, which did have oak trees. So there is at least that. Like if you pull out here, like they're all tree streets because it's a fucking blah, 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 blah. It's a subdivision. It's a subdivision, right? So, like, you got 12, 13, like, these are numbered, and then everything is, like, Evergreen, Oak, Howard, you know, Wessel Court. My piano teacher was over here somewhere. Then my paper route was basically, like, Evergreen Street, 15th, Howard, Evergreen, and I think that maybe, like, yeah, I had to do, like, these couple blocks on 15th. So, like, that, and then 15th Court, like, 15th Circle, but not 16th Street. And 14th Street. That was done by somebody else. So my paper route was just like this little area here. I was actually Paperboy of the Month in January of 6th grade, probably. So I probably would have been about 1994, 1995. But yeah, so like Tulsa will offer you $10,000 cash, a co-working space, a housing stipend in one of their like fancy housing places for a little while. Like, if you have a remote job that you can relocate to Tulsa. It's clearly they're trying to build up a tech community. Yeah, Dayton is where the Dayton Flyers are who Brad cheers for. That's why I pulled up Dayton. So I think Dayton, Ohio is where Brad just was. So my pulling that up was not by accident. Fairview Park, by the way, we always used to call Fish Park. There's another park over here, Kehoe Park. Yeah, that was Rocket Ship Park back when I was growing up there. I don't know if they still have the rocket ship. I think that maybe they do still have the rocket ship. Yes, they replaced it with something that was slightly less treacherous. But yes, Rocket Ship Park has this rocket ship. And climbing up, you're a kid, right? So you're like climbing up. You're like, oh, it's fine, it's great. You go to the top. And then climbing down is a nightmare. And it used to be that like these holes to get through, like this little ladder, were super, super small. So if you're a grown up, like getting up there is annoying as shit. And so, but like kids will go up to the top and then be super scared and not climb down. Good luck with your keto pizza. Thanks for stopping by, Gaming Lawyer. Have a happy new year. Cheers to you. Oh, I'm raising my glass and you can't see it. Raise your glass. Oh, that's right. I should show you. So like, I don't know if you're going to see it, but yeah, look, it says Google open source on my glass because I laser etched it on my laser. Because open source is awesome. It's also got the logo, although it's harder to see because the beer is kind of covering half of it. But like this is that and like the logo. So happy New Year, my friend. Happy New Year. So yeah, so you would climb up to the top, and then your parents would have to like come get you, and they couldn't get up there because it was super tiny, and like because you'd be too scared. Because going up you can see, but going down you have to kind of put your foot down behind you without being able to see it. Super scary. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess if you want to live remotely, sure, move to Dayton, Ohio. But you're not going to get the things that you want in Dayton, Ohio, if you're used to living in a city. Like, that's just not the way it goes. All right, so what do we do? What else do we do this year? Can I twirl my hat with my headphones? Like, yeah, I can. This hat is actually broken at this point. Like, this is all bent, and so, like, it doesn't spin anymore, and I don't really know what's up with it. Like, this is the cheap one. Basically, I bought 2 spinny hats, right? And one has the red and the orange in the front, and they kind of like blend together. So like it's really like gross for streaming, but this one like was super cheap, and the spinner is now like broken. So I need to like just buy another hat probably. It's like $6. It's not like it's a big deal, but yeah. So in theory, yes, I can twirl my hat with the headphones on, but at this point, like I can't twirl this hat with the headphones off. Like it has nothing to do with the headphones. It just has to do with the fact that it doesn't really twirl anymore. It just kind of bounces around. Anyway, there may be some Space Tech stuff around in Dayton. It's just an example. Like, you can pick a million cities around the country that are like just, like that where people are like, where rent is cheap, that are not where you want to live. I want to make a map. Just show me a map of all cities. Michigan. Can you just search for Michigan? No. Okay. Detroit. Oh yeah, it is a business. It doesn't really matter though. Business expenses, so that like, oh, it's a tax write-off. It's always a thing that people say, and it's like, yeah, but that's not really like a thing. All right. So like, remove outline. All right, there we go. So yeah, we could live in Duck Lake. Let's look at Duck Lake. This looks like these are all lots. Oh, you can't see it again. Sorry. I need to like move this forward so I can see what I'm. All right, there we go. Yeah, so we could buy like how many acres is this? Land just appraised for 34 acres of prime hunting property. Duck Lake, it turns out, has no houses. It's just hunting land. Here we go. Here's a nice 2-bedroom, 1-bath, $111 per square foot. And then you're living in this cozy bungalow on 2 acres. Oh, wow. That's actually, I don't know. So my Scoutmaster actually had a ski cottage up in Hartford, Wisconsin, I think. Maybe. I don't know, but we would go skiing in Wisconsin, and then he had like a little cottage there. It reminds me a little bit of this place here that I just clicked away from. Oh well. Yeah, there we go. Isn't that kind of nice? You know, kind of like a cozy little place that's just kind of a getaway rather than... Although it looks like this is where people... This is like a full-time property for people, but yeah. Anyway, housing is expensive in the places that people want to live. And everywhere except for Concord, Massachusetts, the internet options suck. And so, you know, it's just bad. What is this? I have like a blue icon. Programs. Oh, close that. I don't need that. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at my task manager and being like, what is going on? Anyway, yeah. So, shit's expensive. Shit is expensive, no doubt. Portland, Oregon. Let's go to Portland, Oregon. Let's buy a house. We're gonna get a 2-bedroom house. 2 bedrooms. Apply filters. Yeah. So let's look right in this area here. Yeah, $500,000. This is the same. Like this is again. Yeah, this is $200 per square foot instead of $500 like it is in Cambridge. So like, you know, it's better. See, this is kind of a cool house though. This doesn't look just like run of the mill. Like it's got unique aspects. So as much as I complain about the stupid Frank Lloyd Wright house we looked at first in Dayton, like I enjoy something that has character rather than just like the normal suburban ranch. Like that was where I was actually going with that. Like here's the ranches I grew up on. I'm used to it, but now I live in the city and I'm a fucking snob. Like I want something with character. I want something that looks different from all of the other ranches out there. Like I want something that like feels like an enjoyable place to live. And like Portland definitely, like these places have that look from the outside. So Sam, I mean, so Gaming Lawyer just moved up to, the Pacific Northwest again after being in LA for the past, like, many years. And so we were just talking about the fact that everything's expensive. I'm not buying because I can't afford to buy. Well, no, I'm not buying because I don't know where I want to be, right? So my daughter is finishing, up her senior year now. She's a senior at Cambridge Fringe and Latin. And once she's done, she's applying to college. She just submitted like 6 or 7 of her college applications today. So she's applying to colleges. She really wants to go to Mount Holyoke, which she's not going to get into, but whatever. Like she really wants to go to Mount Holyoke. And so like we really have to see where she ends up before we think about buying. Because it's going to change things, right? Like if she only like ended up applying to schools in Massachusetts, but like, you know, we don't have to buy in Cambridge. Now I love Cambridge. Do not get me wrong. I love Cambridge. I would love to live here forever, but I also realize that we probably can't afford to buy a house in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Like I was saying, it's $500 a square foot to buy a house. Like I don't know. It's not that I couldn't afford to pay the mortgage, but I don't really understand the, like, what do you, remove all filters, what are you doing? But, like, I don't know, so let's look at it. And another thing, so I love where we are, right? So I wonder if this, like, so I think I can look at Zillow and see our house, right? That's how this works. There we go. Okay, so this is my house. 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. 2 bedrooms is kind of a weird thing, right? Because the actual room that's right here is like not really a bedroom, but it sort of is. Hey, it's my car. I love my car. So like, yeah. Yeah, so it thinks that the place that we currently live in is like $1.3 million. Now, like a mortgage for that, whatever, would be $5,600 a month. Is that really how that works? Okay, I guess I'm wrong. I thought, oh no, purchase. That's what I was thinking. Get rates. Not a refinance. Oh, okay. I guess they're the same. I don't know. All right. So yeah, so 20% down, it would be $5,600 a month. I thought usually that's not how that worked. Like $1.3 million, I expected that to be lower, but I guess I don't know. Whatever. Clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so like that's too much. It is correct that we are paying $3,200 a month in rent. Like that is my rent, but I could not afford to pay $6,000 a month in mortgage payments. No, so Jeff, we're not moving for in-state to it. Like I said, she's applying only to schools that are like in or near Massachusetts anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I thought that this was, yeah. But yeah, so rent is going up. But yeah, and the rent estimate, which is actually, like, this rent is exactly what we paid for rent here last year. Like, it was $3,203 a month. Now it's like $3,300 or whatever. Yeah, well, so the other thing is that we pay all our we pay all of our expenses anyway because our landlady is old and it's easier than trying to talk to her about things, frankly. Like, every time we actually have to ask her, we're like, the fridge is broken. She's like, I can't deal with that. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever, I can deal with that. Anyway, yeah, so this is like, yeah. Anyway. But yeah, lots of millions around here. Everything's expensive. Everything's expensive. Let's look at the ones that are actually for sale. I think there's a, well, you can do that, right? For sale. Yeah. Oh God, that's another, like, oh, this is another thing. So my parents, what my parents do is my dad actually owns like 9 properties out in Illinois that he rents out. And so like my parents just go to open houses as their like Saturday activity. Like that's a thing that they do. And so for them, they like that, they go around to open houses, they check out for sale properties. And so when they came to Cambridge, they were going to do that. And so we went around to open houses and they were like, it was like, all right, let's go to this one. And it's like listed for $470,000 or whatever. And it's like a studio apartment in a 25-unit building or something like that. And they're like, I don't get it. Like, what is this? Like, what is going, why don't I have my headphones on? I don't need this. What is this madness? And I'm like, welcome to Cambridge. Like, you know, you want to spend $500,000 on a house. It's not a house. It's a condo unit in a 20-unit apartment building, like in the bumfuck and nowhere end of Cambridge. Like that's what you get. Yeah, like apartment 7 in this building sells for $585,000. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Yeah, so I want 3 beds. Like I think that that's like for us. I think that that's a thing. Well, it's not just East Coast, Sam. It's also like major population areas, right? So like if you go to Rogers Park in Chicago, if you go to like downtown Austin, right? Like, so let's look at Austin, Texas. Like anywhere that you've got like a lot of density, you're seeing like some of these same things. You know, again, lots of millions. So this is $850,000, 4-bedroom, 4-bath. So this is definitely better than it is in Cambridge. So I don't understand. Okay, maybe this is just what I was thinking of, is that I've looked mostly at like $800,000 houses. And so like we could afford to buy, maybe somehow we'd have to come up with a big down payment, but we could afford to buy a $300,000 or an $800,000 house. But an $800,000 house in Cambridge just doesn't buy you a whole lot. So like I don't think there are. We can look again. We'll look at Redfin, see how it goes. Get rid of Hartford. Go to Cambridge, MA. Let's pick a price. We'll go up to 900,000. And we'll say minimum 3 beds and see if there's anything. All right, so there's a couple right along the Somerville line, right? So these are like basically Somerville. And they're not single families, right? So like they're apartments. And I don't really want to I don't want to buy an apartment. Like I don't want to, and this one's not even in Cambridge, it's in Somerville. Like, so like for $900,000, you cannot buy a 3-bedroom house in Cambridge. In part, this is because there are no houses in Cambridge, right? Like, we are really weird that we don't have binary factories. Well, yeah, so, like, binary factories, that's the East Cambridge approach, right? So, like, if we bump this up to 1 million, or 1.5, we'll bump this up to 1.5, right? But again, like a 3-bedroom, 3-bath apartment is what you get for $1.3 million. Like, that's a lot of goddamn money. So that's why, like, I don't want to buy. Like, we're fine. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm not building equity, but fuck it. Like, so Somerville is fine, but I like Cambridge. Like, I understand that I could move. I do. Like, I don't have the school system problem anymore, but I like Cambridge. Cambridge means so much to me. Like, I've lived here for 15 years. I don't want to give that up. So we'll probably just keep renting for like the next 5 years. Like, that's realistically probably what we'll do. But I basically said, like, I wanted to get Julie out of school before we considered. So when we moved, because we moved 4 years ago at this 4 years ago at this point, because I moved 4 months after I started at Google, and I said, we're not going to move until Julie's done school. Like, that's it. And part it's because I want Jess to get back to, like, finding something she's interested in doing, whether it's nonprofit work or like a job or whatever else like that. And so she has, because of her parents both dying like a year apart, but like the last 2 years have been dealing with that and like trying to get Julie off to college and getting Alicia off to college and everything else like that. So we have like not had the opportunity for her to get back to work and figure out what she wants to do, because I'm not convinced that she doesn't want to do like nonprofit work, and we would want to end up in like New York or DC or something like that. And I'm happy to go anywhere, right? Like, I'm not super, if we're gonna move and we're not going to keep living in Cambridge, like, I'm not super picky about where we live. So, like, you want to live in, you know, whatever, in Bethesda or Chantilly or Fairfax or whatever. Like, you want to, like, come out here. Like, that's fine. Like, these houses are weird looking, too. See, again, this is, like, the boring ranch look. I don't want a boring ranch. I don't want, and these cookie cutter, look at like the shape of these two houses is just so fucking cookie cutter, like, you know, oh, because they're ready to build. They're not even real houses. Okay. I was like, this is like suburbs galore, right? Is like, these houses are very clearly exactly what you get. Like, you pick an elevation and you pick, oh God, also, what the fuck is McMansion Hell? That's what this is. Like, the McMansion Hell blog is what I'm in the flesh, is what I'm looking here in Fairfax. But yeah, so when we were looking at one point, we were looking at like getting these houses. Like, these houses look too perfect. Yeah, it's because they are not real. Like, they're photoshops. But yeah, so like, we almost did this when we were moving at one point when I was like 10 or something, like 14. When I was 14, because we moved to Hawthorne when I was 14. As moving into one of these things. So you like go and like you pick the layout, and like they have all these things, and you can like pick that you want the color and like how many extra windows you want and all these other things. And it's like, I don't like that. I don't like that bullshit. Like, I don't want something that looks the same as the other 7 houses. And yes, I understand. Like, they literally have to have rules that if you buy this lot, you can't have this one because the one right next to it has already been built. Like, you have to have a 2 gap between of houses of the exact same style. And like, that's the kind of thing that they do. So yeah, so I don't know what these are. Like, it's just like these stupid fucking buttresses. They just look gross. I want to live in a fucking city. Like, I want to live where the houses are unique and interesting. I want to live where everything is $1 million, apparently, is what I want. Yeah. Let's just move to this house. This sounds cool. It's like a row house. Oh, look at how much space they got, though. Oh, man. Look at this. Oh, $600 a square foot. It's the same as where I am now. Like, it's expensive. Expensive fucking house. Original details and historic charm. Capitol Hill. Yeah, okay. So this is like super pricey. Capitol Hill, downtown DC. I would love to live it. Like, the museums in DC are so fucking great. Like, I don't know. It's like when does this do the thing? Yeah. So like, when Julie and I went to Washington, this was like 8th grade for her. I think 2013, 5 years ago. 5 years, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 7th grade. We went to Washington, and like we went and saw the Capitol building. We went to the National Zoo. We went to Smithsonian. Like so many cool things. Like so many cool things out there. And I just want to like go and live there, go to all that stuff. Yeah. Well, it's very clearly like, yeah, that's like a Victorian, very Victorian place, right? And it's like all of this Capitol Hill stuff is going to be like that. So let's go look a little bit farther out. Let's go in Columbia Heights, whatever that is. Yeah, some of these are back to looking very apartment built. I see. This is gross. This is like this super like modern look. I don't like that. It's not what I'm looking for. And I know a lot of this is staged, and some of this is the impact of the staging. But like, look at these buildings. There's buildings that were just built like this. But yeah, brand new, spacious, luxurious, 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath, 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath. Who needs 4.5 bathrooms for 5 bedrooms? Like that seems unreasonable. Although I guess that's actually what was in my house when I was growing up. Like we moved into a place, cause it had like a bathroom in the basement, it had a bathroom on the first floor, it had a bathroom on the second floor, and it had a bathroom in the like a master bathroom. So it was almost the same as that, but still, like, ugh. Yeah, this is so fucking sterile. Like, give me something with flavor. Give me something with charm. Give me something that's not part of a row house. Like when I first moved to Cambridge, like we lived in so, like, I've lived in 3 places in Cambridgeport, right? I've lived on Erie Street. I've lived on Alston Street right here, which is why Village Girls where I was going for food, and I've lived here. Like, these are my 3 places. Like, I have not moved far in 15 years. Oh, so Mark, I don't know if you've seen, so there's a place in Kendall now. It's called Proto. And it's amusingly, it's like attached to the Google office effectively. And so let's see, unlisted. I think this video's in here. I'm going to find this real quick. Nope. Oh yeah. Here we go. The stupid Ori Suite video. So it's like the Proto has these tiny little apartments, and because they're tiny, it has this like automation-y thing of sliding back and forth. So you see this rail over here? Like this whole room thing slides back and forth. So this is their promo video about it.
How many rooms does your studio apartment have? What if you could transform your space at the touch of a button? What if you could create a room on demand? From the pioneer of robotic interiors comes the Ori Studio Suite, a dynamic and responsive furniture system that reimagines the way we live in our spaces. Using the power of robotics, the Ori Studio Suite multiplies the efficiency and livability of your square footage by magically revealing space, adding ample storage, and replacing traditional static and unresponsive furniture. You can control the Ori Studio Suite in 3 easy ways. It adapts to your needs with the touch of a button on the Ori Square interface, through a tap of the digital remote in the Ori app, and even through voice activation with Google Home or Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey Alexa, can you ask Ori to make the bed?
Okay.
That's not making the bed. Like it's opening the bed.
Strict safety standards, and its obstacle protection feature automatically stops movement when it feels an object in the way that exerts more than 20 pounds of force.
Or just 2 fingers.
And in the rare case of a loss of power, the Ori Studio Suite will...
I have a problem with this. 20 pounds of force. Yes, it's just 2 fingers. As a grown-up, it's just 2 fingers. If it's a baby, how much do you think babies weigh? Because I feel like that's the kind of thing that could be a problem. Like, so there's actually one in the Cambridge Center, like the foyer of like the Google office. There's actually one of these things there now. Yeah, your cat, like just 20 pounds. Cats weigh 14 or 12 or 9. Like squish.
Will automatically switch to manual mode, allowing you to easily and temporarily move the system by hand. Then reset automation when power is restored. Our trained installers can easily assemble the Ori Studio Suite on site in a few hours.
Also, I just want to comment that, like, so they can install it in just a few hours. They installed the installation in the lobby of Kendall. For the first fucking week, it didn't work. And at one point, I walked by, and there was a guy, like a contractor guy on the phone. He's like, yeah, so here's the thing. Like, they installed the rail all wrong. It's too low, so it won't actually slide. And so I'm like sitting here, like, having seen this video about how easy it is to install and everything else like that. And I had seen the fucking, like, installers fail to install it inside their demo unit that they had installed as, like, their, like, look how great this thing is. And I was just, like, I'm seeing this shit and I, like, crack up at, like, how fucking, you know, whatever it is. But yes, the power of robotics.
The system itself isn't permanently attached to the apartment. It's simply plugged into a conventional outlet, and the guide track is taped to the floor. The Ori Studio Suite comes in full or queen size, and dark or light color to best complement your needs, your space, and your design. From wake up to workout to winding down after a long day, reimagine your space with Ori Studio Suite. Find out how you can live with an Ori Studio Suite today and embrace the future.
Anyway, so yes, the comment of better living through now, clearly this is not designed for integration into any other system, right? Like, they've integrated with Alexa and so on and so forth, and that's like it. And I get that. But when you mentioned integrating with home systems, now do you follow Matthew Garrett, Mark, on Twitter or something like that? He cracks me up, just like all the lighting and home automation, like security vulnerabilities he finds, stuff like that. Yeah. So I don't know, whatever. The Ori Systems Studio Suite is just a thing. Oh yeah, also that it's
Optical protection feature.
So this part right here, like that part right there, is actually about right. Like that, like this, because it moves faster than you would otherwise expect. Oh, so one of the things that I found recently, so I've gone to the Symphony a couple times recently. So I went recently for the, like, holiday pops thing, which was awesome. I loved it. But one of the things that they had is they had a couple things that were done on screens. And so they have this massive 35, 40-foot screen, and the rollers on those things are freaking amazing. Like, I'm used to, like, a projection screen that needs to roll out, like, 40, 50 feet. It's, you know, dealing with a big, heavy projection screen, and it takes, like, 30 seconds or whatever to roll all the way down. These screens were, like, silent, and they rolled out those 50 feet in like 2 seconds, like 2 to 3 seconds. And I was like expecting it to be a lot longer. So was it pushing the plant out of the way? I don't know if it was pushing the plant out of the way. I don't think it's supposed to push the plant out of the way. Oh, the plant is on the desk. That's what you're supposed to be seeing there. Right, so the plant is on the desk. I also like that the plant is on the desk, right? But the desk gets smaller as it rolls out, right? So, like, she talks to Alexa. Yeah, so, yeah, that's right. Like, right here, you can definitely watch the, we'll put it on, well, I mean, you can't put it on a quarter speed, that would kind of ruin it. But, like, watch the bed and look at the tree outside. And it's like, woo, I'm a super speedy tree, because it's sped up 4x. But yeah, so, like, look, this desk has, like, a bunch of space. And then, like, as it pushes it out, oh, no, that was just a trick. It's because it's parallax. It just screws it up. Okay, so it's not actually shrinking to death. It has to, though. Like, you can't leave things on your desk because the desk goes away. Like, that's the whole goddamn point. Maybe not. Like, yeah, because that whole area, that whole desk area that you're looking at there is where is supposed to back up to the wall of the closet. Like, none of this makes sense. It's stupid. It's such a stupid fucking system. Anyway. Man, you should watch this Chris Plays Games guy. He's got like 11 people watching him. Bring in the new year with CPG. Oh no. Now it's like infinite looping. Oh God, what have I done? It's terrible. It's terrifying. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so what should I do? Should we play some game? We could play some games. I can play some Tetris. I got Tetris queued up. I can play other games. We can play like Nintendo or Sega. I can play some Overwatch. I've been practicing my aim in Overwatch. But yes, welcome to the Streamverse. We can also like look whether there's more drinks. I hate eggnog. I do have apple cider. I am drinking beer though. So what do you add to apple cider to make it alcoholic? Like rum, vodka, something else? I don't know. Oh man, I don't know if so I don't know if folks have seen. So Tom Scott has been doing like a new series. It's called like Arrow or something. I don't know what it's called. Hold on. There we go. This series right here is called like Fast Forward Button. This is great. It's a great little series. So my apple cider is not alcoholic, unfortunately. So I don't have that. I don't have that benefit going on. But yeah. So this series is great. So there's 3 videos so far. Basic premise of them is content ID becomes general AI, given the goal of because the goal of Content ID is make sure that no copyrighted content is reused without permission. And so because it becomes general AI, it creates like nanobots that go into people's brains and delete their desires for copyrighted materials that it has removed. The social credit score one, I don't remember being as interesting, but stealing our friend's brain backup prank gone wrong. Tom Scott is not like a typical hey guys YouTuber, and he nailed the genre so well in that video. It was really great. Jack Black started a gaming channel. I mean, it's not a gaming channel if it has no content. Jablinski Games? Is that Jablinski Games? See, it's got a video. It's got no gaming content yet. It's got 2 videos. Jack Black here, 6.7 million. Man, Jack Black is not that interesting, dudes. Jack Black is not that interesting, my dudes. Yeah. I have been watching a whole shit ton of like Overwatch content, like meta content, like coaching content and other things like that. So I will still never actually be good at Overwatch, but man, I know so much more theory now than I did like a little while ago. I've actually been like practicing my aim. Like I've been treating it like a real like hobby that I'm getting interested in now. So that's trouble. I may have to start like a separate channel just for Overwatch shit and like put that out there, because I know that that's not why people. This is actually one of the things I'm thinking about doing more seriously in 2019. Is I have all this shit that I put out there, or that I have that I don't put out there because I'm like, oh, it doesn't fit the style of the Chris Plays Games channel. But I have come around to the idea that YouTube channels are not TV channels. YouTube channels are TV shows. Right? So like YouTube channels are not supposed to be like a bunch of different types of content. And I'm not saying you can't make that work. Some people do, but that's not really the way that anyone uses the platform, that most people use the platform. And this is one of the reasons why like variety streaming or other things like that are really hard for people, and people find that playing a single game over and over works best for them. And so I think that I'm just going to make a lot more channels in 2019. Like in 2019, I'm not going to be afraid to just create a channel for like a style of content. So like CPG rants, if I was to start it today, instead of it being like videos that I upload to try and get people to come to my live streams, it would be like separate videos that go on a channel that's like they're probably not called CPG rants because that's like a weird, like nobody would know who CPG is, but like I would do it separately instead. So that's I think that's what I'm gonna do more of in 2019 is like have separate things for different content. I love the fucking like. Why? YouTube? I have tried so many times to get people to pay attention to these fucking timeouts, and like, still here we are. Like, CPG monkey. Like every time I use fucking YouTube, this fucking happens. Ah, makes me angry. And like we fixed it for a while, and now it's broken again, and blah blah blah. I just want to see a 4 and 2. Not bad, not bad. But yeah, so I know so many more things about these, like these now. Yeah, so if you change games, yeah, so I think it's specific to channels that have a bunch of live streams on them. I think that something about live stream lookups, like something about the information that's looked up for live streams breaks on channel homepages. And so people who have lots of live streams and fewer other videos, they're the ones that break. That does not mean that all channels that have live streams break, because I think that it requires you to have something beyond that. So hot take video game rants. Well, Rura's also like bailed on YouTube, didn't he? Like he went to, wow, he's got 1 million subs. I thought he was like, because he went to VidMe back before VidMe shut down. So he was like all in on VidMe, and then VidMe shut down. He was like, oh, yeah, I'm back to YouTube. Man, Soulja Boy content. That's the ticket. The worst SNES classic ever 2. What? Weird. But yeah, he got all pissy at YouTube for demonetization stuff. I got 13 people watching now. Also, like I realized after I started my stream that my thumbnail is like boasted. Like I got like weird cruft at the edge of it because I didn't actually resize my image to be big enough. Those fireworks are, by the way, from the 4th of July fireworks in Boston back a couple of years ago. Have they been taken down now? That's good. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I've been like learning how to like fuck around with Overwatch. I've been practicing my aim. I have spreadsheets now. Like I have spreadsheets for oh, my OBS hid from me. So like I've been practicing my aim, so I've been tracking my number of kills in 10 minutes. I've got spreadsheets for like my win-loss and my rating, so you can see my SR, other stuff like that. Let me make this go away. I'm gonna mute this because I don't care that much about the music. Yeah, so one of the things that I figured out is that I can actually let's see. No, I have a preset for this. Presets. There we go. Okay. So I can actually just make myself a spectator and start the game. Here we go. Here we go. And I need to go 16 by 9. Change this from Stanley Parable. Overwatch. There we go. So yeah, so I figured out that I can actually, one of the things I want to do is make like a 30 to 60 second video about what the point of each game is. So I tried to do that a couple times when I was playing, but I want something that I can do like while we're picking heroes or something like that to kind of talk about what the point of the games is. And I figured I can just go into this mode where I can just browse around. So you can kind of see the whole map. And it's interesting for other reasons too, right? Like, so one of the things that's interesting is like when you're playing the game, you're down here. Like, this is what you see. right? Like you're running along the ground, like maybe you're standing up here or something else like that. But it's interesting to see like where they put objects. And so like you can see that they've got like this object out here because you have sightlines on it. And you can see that there's this boat in the outside that I've never actually seen before. I've never paid attention to it while I'm like playing a game because I don't like look at the scenery as I'm playing a game. And you can like just fly around the map and see all the various stuff. And like all these boats are down here, but they're clearly not designed to give you like a ton of detail. Like, because you can't get down here. Like if you fall below this level of the map, you die. So these are just like untextured boats that are just chilling down here. But it's still interesting to see like the various things that they've added in the map. And then the same with the textures on the very top of the lighthouse. Like the lighthouse, you very rarely would get like up close and personal with it. Like maybe a no, you can't even go that high. So like the skybox is here. As you can see, the light source is just like not very interesting as a light source. Like it's just a point light that travels around. Like there's very little to it because you don't have to. You can't go this high, so it doesn't really matter. You can get to these like these solar panels here, right? So that's actually a thing that you can see or get to. The shuttles are the starting area, but you wouldn't come like on top of the back of the shuttle over here. And so like this is an interesting thing that I want to do is just make like a 30 to 60 second clip about wind conditions for each map. So for like this particular map, I would say this is Ilios Lighthouse. The special things about this, or the key point of this map, the thing that you want to control is that you want to be in here. The more people who are in here, when your team is the one that controls this space, you gain points. The key aspects of this, or the key entryways to this, is that you have a couple of different entryways from each side that are approximately mirrored. You have a farther out route, a middle route, and a bottom route around here that takes you through, well, that doesn't actually take you through. You have a route around here that takes you through this little room that has a health pack in it. Your goal is to get in here, and that's that. Some concerns that you may have is that these high grounds give you a lot of shots from snipers, so this is a dangerous thing to avoid if you have snipers, to be aware of that. The other thing is that if you are playing this map, you will oftentimes have people play Lucio, who has the ability to do a knockback, and so if you're running in with a couple teammates, he'll do a knockback here, knock you off the edge, and you'll fall to your doom. Right? So like that's a quick 30-second intro of like things that are special about this map. Tells you what the wind condition is, tells you what special things that you have to be concerned about, and gives you kind of an overview of the area that you're going to be fighting in. And just doing a bunch of those for each of these maps. No, I can't fly to the other zones of Ilios. No, so all the boundaries here are pretty well established. So one of the things is that the Overwatch Cup viewer, the Overwatch World Series viewer, actually let you fly much farther out, but still not to the other regions of the map. The other thing I'm considering doing is there's actually an app called Stat Banana that has like overhead views of each of the games. And so if we look at like this here, right? So this guy is using Stat Banana to do like drawing out the various things. It's a cool tool, but it costs $50 a year. And it's not that I don't like it, it's that I have to decide if $50 is like worth the investment for me and what I really want out of this game or not. Hello, Beast Life, how's it going? But yeah, so I can create custom games with any of the maps. I don't know how I can pick the different maps in Ilios easily. So like that's an issue, but I'm not like, I don't know, I haven't figured that out yet. Where are we? We're here. There. So yeah, you can turn on like Hanamura, turn everything off. Turn on Hanamura. Go back, drag me to spectator, start. I love some of these winter maps. So the winter maps are specific to the winter event that's currently going on. Yeah, so in Hanamura, Hanamura is the type of map that's called 2CP. 2CP maps have 2 control points that you have to capture. The first one in this case is inside this little temple area around the bell. The second one is farther back inside the shrine. The key thing about 2CP maps is basically that the attacking team should have an easy time capturing the first point because their distance to run is very short. It's their ability to run back. Like, if they get killed, it takes them it takes them about 10 to 20 seconds to run to this point. Now, if we compare that to the other team's time, so it's 29:10. So I'm going to run all the way back to spawn for the other team. So it's basically a long spawn run all the way back here. Boom. So that's like 15 to 20 seconds. So it's going to be about 6 seconds longer. And that makes a big difference. You know, it's 50% longer to run back. However, once you cap that first point, that team has basically, you know, besides their death count, has almost no time to run back. And the new spawn location is here. So, like, if we start at 28:30, I run out these doors. I have to run all the way here. And so to actually touch the point, boom, 13 seconds. Now compare from the time I leave the spawn doors here, 1, 2, 3 seconds. So I have 4 times as long of a run back as the enemy team does, which means these 2CP maps can be very difficult unless you are able to get like a team kill on this like objective, because they'll just keep trickling in, and you have to be prepared for that and ready for that. So that's something that causes trouble for these 2CP maps. And so that's something that I would, again, that took me like 2.5 minutes to go through, but I would do it in shorter form, right? Like, this is Ilios, or this is Hanamura. There are 2 main control points. One is this one. This is the first point that we're going to want to capture as an attacking team or defend. This is the primary defense point with a window over here as the defending team at the first point. Spawn is down there. And then I would snap to a second description and say the second point is inside the shrine, and that shrine is over here, and this big area here is where you would want to defend. You have multiple entry points, you've got a couple of like windows, and you've got this. Yeah, so the cherry blossoms and snow is not really a thing, right? So that's a bit unreasonable, but whatever. And so like normal Hanamura, restart match. But yeah, so I was happy to realize that I could just go spectator mode. Yeah, so this is what it looks like normally. Because you got like the pinky trees and everything else like that. I've not actually flown all the way up here. How high can I go? Okay, it doesn't let me go super high. Because I think I've limited to the player skybox. So like if I am a Farah, which is like the flying, you know, person with a rocket. Oh, look at that. 16-bit hero. See, I've never seen this. Like I've never seen this particular thing. Because when I'm playing the game, I don't like look around the level very much. So there's like a vending machine here, which I know about, but I have not like looked around these levels socially. And that's actually the other thing about, so like Blizzard World. Maps, none, Blizzard World. Restart. So Blizzard World has a whole bunch of different things that are based on various Blizzard games, right? So like these are characters from World of Warcraft. Hearthstone is of course another Blizzard game, but the music in here, this is like the Stormwind theme song. So you can't go out into this part, but you can see like the Blizzard World entry, because it's supposed to be a theme park, right? So like you can look at that. You got the Hearthstone logo here, but it's very much at Dark Moon Ferris Wheel. Like Dark Moon Festival is an event. Black Rock Mountain is an aspect. Again, these are all World of Warcraft references. you come out here, you've got the big, the Wizard Sanctum. I don't remember where exactly that's from, but that's a part of one of these games. Ancient Curios, you can come in here and see various things. So like all of these different parts of the world, that's of course the Stormwind, or the Alliance logo. Flight to Duskwood. Duskwood is a zone in World of Warcraft. Fargo Deep Mine, another zone in World of Warcraft. Snax Ramus, of course. So this is supposed to be a food place, but it is based. The name comes from Naxxramas, and Naxxramas is this floating place up here. So the floating place is a dungeon in World of Warcraft: Wrath of the Lich King. In the background there, you can see pylons. I'm pretty sure those are pylons from StarCraft 2. You can see Murloc Island out here as well. Oh, we can fly all the way out here. That's great. You got the Horde logo there. Again, references to World of Warcraft. I don't know exactly what this is, but I think that it is... Yeah, a raid. You're right. A raid. Not a dungeon, a raid. The Nexus is another raid. This is, again, Pylon Terrace, so pylons are a thing from StarCraft. I'm assuming this turret maybe is from... I don't recognize this from World of Warcraft, so I kind of assume that this is from StarCraft, but I'm not actually sure. But yeah, so like I didn't know that, like, I don't know if this Nexus Experience sign is in here normally. Maybe the Nexus Experience is actually a reference to StarCraft as well. But yeah, so this is like the Founders Hall, and so you can see like all these various dates of releases for their games. Yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff in these places. Heroes Arcade, this is Heroes of the Storm reference. And like, I didn't even know that this exit door existed. I don't think I'd ever use it for anything, but... Blizzard World Soda, you got a Murloc holding a flag. These look like StarCraft references to me. That big blade feels familiar, but I'm not actually sure what it's supposed to be. A siege tank. Okay, that's StarCraft. Got it. And I'm not actually sure... Like, this feels like some kind of Warcraft dungeon or raid or something like that, but I don't actually recognize the reference specifically, so... Anyway, yeah, so, like... But yeah, so in... And again, coming back to what I would describe this as, is that, like, the Blizzard World map is called a hybrid map. There's two phases of the engagement. One is a capture phase, where you have to capture this part of the map. And in order to do that, you have your team will be coming in from spawn over here. Their team will be coming in from spawn on the other side. You need to control this point on your own with no enemy teammates for 30 seconds. Once you do that, from this little garage, the payload here will come out, and you will have to escort that further on. Play nice, play fair. You'll have to escort that further on. So that's the first point is capturing that. The second point is going to be down this line along this pathway, and will be here once the... Oh, Reign of the Black King. Okay, there you go. I don't know what Reign of the Black King is, but... I don't know. I've loved Blizzard after Activision. I've only engaged with Blizzard properties after Activision, and I love World of Warcraft, and I love Hearthstone was enjoyable, and I love this game, Overwatch. Overwatch is cool. I think that they continue to do great work. I do think that the world has changed in gaming, and I think that that's certainly true. Anyway, so this is the second point, and third point is in here. You will have difficulties on third point. You're getting into extremely fast spawn from this location, so people can just kind of stream out into here, but not quite as bad as a 2CP map because you don't have nearly as long of a run. And I would probably compare the 2 times or something like that, right? So, bank vaults. More bank vaults. There's a mini over here. I didn't know about that. So yeah, just lots of things that I learned just by browsing around these levels that I would never learn in game. It's just interesting. Yeah, this is the spawn room. I guess I like that the exit signs are funny, right? Because it's clearly meant to be imitating a theme park, but it also gives you the information about where the exit signs are. So yeah, I definitely did not know that you could exit from spawn directly down this hallway. Like, I thought you had to go main, but you don't have to go main. You can come this way, which I definitely should do more of. Especially once the payload's, like, over here, it doesn't make sense to keep going out main. Like, huge advantage. So, I just learned something new. What's down here? Oh, yeah. Okay, so you got, like, low ground, high ground. Like, there's so many different routes in the maps. Ah, Diablo. Okay, cool. That explains why I didn't recognize it. Well, thank you. See, Orcas, you know all of the Blizzard stuff that I don't know. So, I'm happy to have you here. I don't know what that big floaty thing is either. It's scary looking. Yeah, so it's next Ramus. Yeah, so I know the Blizzard stuff more. Yeah, I mean, so that, you know, you gotta make money. I mean, I don't know. I'm always like, you got to figure out ways to pay people. And if you're paying people fairly and you're engaging in that type of behavior that, like, is involved in paying people fairly, I'm going to have a harder time criticizing you than otherwise. Anyway, so that's just me playing around in Overwatch. But yeah, so the reason that I have some of these settings is that, like, I have now been practicing aiming, and so I've been trying to work on like shooting hard Anas on team 2. So yeah, so I have like a headshots only mode. And headshots only mode, I basically do 10-minute stretches of practice. Oh. Did I fuck that up? I might have. Might have loaded the wrong settings. But yeah, so in headshot, Anna can't headshot. And so, like, this is a way to just get 10 minutes of practice on shooting other people. Yeah, so I went to the wrong mode. So before this, I had, like, I was using, like, a tiny portion of my desk. And so, like, I have now cleaned off, like, a much bigger chunk of my desk. So, like, now I have been using, like, it's not quite, yeah, so, like, this whole area of my desk now is usable, for aiming, and so I've been working on, like, getting more used to, because usually, like, when I use my mouse, I use it like this. Like, this is how I usually use it, but I've been, like, turning down my sensitivity and, like, getting more used to making movements like this, which I guess is the way that more people do it, and gives me more room to kind of aim more precisely when I'm playing with this, like, Widowmaker shots stuff. So that's one of the charts that I've been keeping. I only started doing this yesterday. I looked up, I was like, my aim is terrible. Like, how do I fix my aim? And I found a YouTube video that basically said, like, make a headshots only setting and add 5 Anas, and then work on shooting them. Which I'm not in, but yeah. Yeah, so I have a mouse pad at work. I just haven't gone back to work yet. But I have, like, a big YouTube gaming mouse pad that they gave me, and I got it, and I was like, why the fuck do people have these giant fucking mouse pads? And then I was finally, like, realizing that part of the reason that I had so much trouble aiming is that, like, I would come here and I'd be scrolling my mouse, and so you see there's like a little like a dent in my desk here, and so I was like, what is going on? And I was like catching on this, and I had like sticky stuff here because I like spilled beer at some point, and so like a huge chunk of my desk was like taken up by little pock marks, and whenever I tried to like move my mouse over it would stick, and so it's like silly that I was like having that problem. And so yeah, so I'm working on that. Of course, I got my World of Warcraft Stein sitting here. But yeah, so like I pushed my monitors further back. I made more space. I'm now getting used to kind of doing like this, moving with my arm rather than like playing like this, which is how like I always did it before. So I don't know. I'm definitely still not a first-person shooter person. like I have a long way to go before I'm any good at that, but yeah. Anyway, Happy New Year, Celso Luis. Welcome to the stream. As you know, I'm the Chris who plays games, and we're just hanging out here chatting. We're looking up prices of housing around the country earlier. Now we are just chilling out, kind of browsing like YouTube, pulling up different games. I'm trying to think of like what else did I do in this year that I didn't share with people. Like, cause I feel like I made a bunch of videos that I had never published. I got like I have 5.5 hours of mini VODs. Why does this include copyrighted content? What copyrighted content does this have in it? Huh. Apparently one of the Stanley Parable songs has a thing in it. Oh yeah, I also like, I finally fixed my Stream Deck. So before, I am such an idiot. So before I had like in my Stream Deck, I had like an OBS. So initially I had like the record and broadcast buttons like right here. Right? All the time. They were always there. And so, like, the cat stepped on them at one point and started broadcasting. And then this weekend, like, I was like, okay, now they're in a different folder, so I had to, like, explicitly click through. But I still accidentally started broadcasting because I went to hit record, and I had, like, stream and record, like, right here. So I finally changed that. And so, like, now streaming is in a separate folder, and it has a button down here. And recording is in its own folder and has a button here. And so, like, now I think I won't accidentally broadcast anymore. I love that I got, like, 18 views on, like, an accidental 1-minute stream that I broadcast, which is stupid, but whatever. All right. Let's look at this. I meant to update my game. I need to update my game directory. That's a thing I need to do. Yeah. I've got some like various like Overwatch gameplay demonstrating light leaks. So at one point I like had like my camera was being affected by like, look, this looks like an Instagram filter, right? But it's not. Like, it's an actual light leak coming into my webcam. So, you know, got some J.J. Abrams getting on here. Oh, this is one of the things I was doing. I did color correction, right? So I took the color correction course, and one of the things that I did to practice that was basically like I took 2 of the same video, and or I took a video with the normal setting, and then I edited it. Or I took a very similar video with like the not normal setting. So this is for my drone. This is the normal setting. This is the log setting, right? So this is like looks very washed out because the colors here are like more neutral because the color space is compressed so that you can have the ability to expand it out later. And what you'll see is that right here, you can see that I applied the kind of the same color. And then I think I'm going to come in down, I'm going to tilt back up, and then it'll swap the 2 scenes. And so you can see kind of like how I color graded it to look very similar to it. Yeah. So that was the thing I did. But yeah, so like I never really got around to publishing some of the things I learned from my color correction class. I should really do that. I have so many ideas for like mini VODs I should, what was it? Short. No. Variety segments. There we go. So like this is like a whole list of things that I should do that would be like 5 to 15 minute videos. Like taking the good bits from a stream, finding a YouTube channel and recommending them, like doing a first time gameplay similar to like Soy Bomb's Crucial 5 with longer playtime and more editing. Review games. Oh, I get so many games via